I, 30, female, have a dog named Rosie. Rosie's a 4-year-old golden retriever. She's the sweetest, most gentle dog I've ever met. I got her as a puppy when I was going through a rough time in my life, and she's been my little light ever since. She's family. I do not have kids yet, but Rosie is like my child. She's well trained, healthy, and I've always taken really good care of her. My sister-in-law, Agatha, 27, female, is married to my brother. We were never super close, but we were friendly enough. She always had this wannabe influencer vibe. She jumped from one business idea to another every few months. One time she tried to sell candles. Then it was custom jewelry. Then makeup tutorials. Nothing stuck. She was always trying to find her big break online. A few months ago, she announced that she was going to start her own pet grooming business. She had this whole vision of a luxury spa for pets, complete with pastel walls, fluffy robes for dogs, and paw dicures. She talked nonstop about her brand and how she wanted it to go viral on social media. Honestly, I did not think much of it. I figured it would be another one of her short-lived phases. One day, Agatha texted me asking if she could borrow Rosie for a few photos for her website. She said she needed a well-groomed dog to pose as a model for her branding. I told her I was not comfortable with that. Rosie is a homebody. She does not enjoy being around strangers or new places for too long. I also did not like the idea of someone using her as a prop. Agatha tried to convince me, saying Rosie was perfect and that I'd get free grooming sessions in return. I still said no. A few days later, I had to go out of town overnight for a work conference. I left Rosie with my brother, who lives just 10 minutes away. He's taken care of her before, and Rosie likes him, so I did not worry. What I didn't know was that Agatha saw this as her chance. When I got back the next evening, I picked Rosie up and was shocked when I saw her. Her fur was dyed, not just a little accent or a small patch. Her entire coat was a mix of pastel pink, lavender, and sky blue. Her ears were bright yellow. Even her tail was a different color. She looked like some cartoon character. I could not believe my eyes. I thought maybe she rolled into paint or something. But when I asked my brother, he seemed confused and said, "She looked fine earlier. Agatha was with her most of the day." I immediately knew what happened. I rushed home, gave Rosie a bath, but the dye did not come off. I was furious. Rosie was uncomfortable too. She kept scratching and whining. I called the vet and they told me to bring her in. Turns out the dye used on Rosie was not even pet safe. She had a mild allergic reaction and needed medication. The vet gave me a report and told me to keep an eye on her. While I was dealing with all this, Agatha posted pictures of Rosie all over her new business account on Instagram and Facebook. She called her our first glamorous client and even made up a fake review saying Rosie loved every moment of her luxury spa day. She used before and after shots and even made a short reel of Rosie during the transformation. I was beyond angry. She did not just ignore my clear no, she used my dog without my permission, exposed her to unsafe chemicals, and then lied about it online. I messaged her, telling her to take everything down, but she did not respond. She left me on read and kept posting more. She posted stories saying, "So excited about our grand opening. More happy clients coming soon." I felt sick. I did not want to cause drama at first. I just wanted her to stop using Rosie's pictures and to take responsibility. But when she completely ignored me, I decided to go further. I gathered everything. The screenshots of her posts, the vet report, and the text where I told her no. I sent it all to the local animal welfare office, along with a written complaint. I also contacted the health department to report that she was using dyes and chemicals that were not approved for animals. Turns out Agatha did not have the proper licenses yet. She had rented a small space and was doing everything under the table, hoping no one would notice until she got big. She was planning a big launch event for the following week. Well, that never happened. A few days after I sent my complaints, the authorities visited her business space. She was fined for using unsafe products and operating without a license. They also temporarily shut her down, pending further investigation. When she tried to fight back online and defend herself, people started asking questions. Other groomers in the area called her out for unsafe practices. Her page got flooded with negative comments. Eventually, she deleted everything. My brother called me and tried to mediate. He said Agatha was just trying to get started and that I overreacted. I told him Rosie is my family, not a toy. She was not a prop for someone's side hustle. She was harmed. He said Agatha was crying and upset that her business dreams were ruined. I told him that it was her fault, not mine. Agatha never apologized. She sent me a cold text saying, "I guess now you're happy." And that was it. No remorse, no acknowledgement that she hurt Rosie, just pure bitterness. I honestly thought people would understand. I did not expect applause or anything, but I also did not think I'd become the villain in the whole situation. Turns out I was very wrong. What happened next made me feel like I was stuck in some weird alternate universe where people forgot basic decency and common sense. It started slowly. First, my brother stopped replying to my texts unless they were really important. I figured he was upset and I did not push. Then my aunt messaged me something vague and passive-aggressive like, "I hope one day you'll learn to be a little more forgiving." I was not even sure what she meant at first. I hadn't talked to her in months. Then it snowballed. My cousin posted a story on Instagram about how people love ruining others' dreams just because they can't build their own, with a crying emoji and a scissors emoji. Subtle, real subtle. Then my mom called me, not to ask about Rosie or how I was doing, but to tell me I blew things way out of proportion and that Agatha is absolutely devastated. Apparently, Agatha has been telling everyone I ruined her lifelong dream. According to her, she spent years studying animal care, saving money, and planning this business, which is funny because last time we spoke about her career goals, she was still talking about becoming a lifestyle influencer and maybe starting a beauty brand. Pet grooming was literally her new thing, less than 3 months old when she used Rosie. But I guess that didn't matter. She told everyone I reported her out of spite. I exaggerated the situation and I wanted her to fail, and everyone just ran with it. They all started calling what she did just a mistake or a misunderstanding. The phrase "it was just temporary dye" kept popping up as if that excused the whole thing. It did not matter that it was not pet safe. It did not matter that Rosie had a reaction. It did not matter that I explicitly told Agatha no. They said I should have just talked it out and that going to the authorities was extreme. Some family members even said I should have helped Agatha grow her business instead of tearing it down. I could not believe it. She dyed my dog without permission, used her as a marketing tool, lied about it online, and ignored my request to take the pictures down. And somehow I was the bad guy? The thing is, I did not even go into this looking to ruin anything. All I wanted was for her to admit what she did was wrong, apologize, and promise not to do it again. But she did not. She doubled down. She kept posting. She pretended like Rosie belonged to her. And when I stood up for my dog, she acted like I had committed a crime. I started getting left out of family group chats. There was a birthday party for one of my younger cousins, and I was not invited, even though I always am. My mom told me. Agatha did not feel comfortable with me there. Apparently, she was still healing from the emotional damage I caused. Emotional damage from what? Being held accountable? Meanwhile, Rosie was still recovering. Her fur was patchy in places from all the baths and treatments. She was anxious, jumpy, and did not want to be touched by strangers. Every time I brushed her, I could feel how tense she was. That did not happen before. That was not temporary, and yet no one asked about her. No one cared. Even the vet report did not matter to them. I tried showing it to my mom, thinking maybe she'd understand if she saw it in black and white, and instead she just sighed and said, "It's still not worth ruining someone's life over." I had to walk away from that call. I could not believe what I was hearing. I guess what hurt the most was that no one even tried to see my side. They were all so quick to rally behind Agatha. I think part of it is because she cries easily and acts like the world is against her. She's good at playing the victim. She posts vague, sad quotes on her story, talks about being betrayed by those closest to you, and people eat it up. I do not do drama. I'm not online crying about it or posting long rants. I just protect my dog and go about my day. But because I'm quiet, people think that means I don't care or that I'm being cold. I also think some of them just did not like that I went to the authorities like it was some big betrayal of family loyalty. But the thing is, if a stranger had done what Agatha did, no one would hesitate to say it was wrong. The only reason people are defending her is because she's family. But being family does not mean you get to break boundaries without consequences. I did not blast her online. I did not name and shame. I did not spread lies. I did not even tell most people what she did. The only people who knew were the ones she told first, spinning it in her favor, of course. And by the time I tried to explain, people had already made up their minds. I also found out she tried to rebrand the business under a different name a few weeks later. She changed the logo, deleted the old Instagram account, and started over. But by then, the damage was done. People in the local pet care community knew what happened. No one wanted to work with her, and a couple of groomers even posted subtle warnings on their pages about inexperienced individuals using unsafe methods. She never publicly responded, but her new page went quiet after that. She's been unemployed since. My brother says she's depressed and does not want to leave the house. I am sure that's hard, but again, I did not do that. She did. She made her choices. She ignored boundaries. She harmed my dog. She lied. She used Rosie as a free marketing tool. And now I'm the bad guy for not letting it slide. So aita for reporting my sister-in-law and getting her business shut down over what everyone keeps calling just some temporary die? Update 1. It had been a few months since everything blew up. I was finally starting to feel like things were settling down. Rosie was doing better, still not fully back to her old self, but she no longer flinched when I picked up the brush or walked towards her with a towel. I was proud of that. It meant a lot to me. My home felt calm again, quiet, safe. Then Agatha showed up at my door. It was a Saturday morning and I was still in pajamas making coffee. I was not expecting anyone. When I heard the knock, I thought maybe it was a delivery or a neighbor, but no, I opened the door and there she was. Agatha, standing on my porch, dressed in all black, sunglasses on even though it was cloudy, and holding a huge iced coffee. She looked like she had walked out of a sad reality show. She did not say anything right away. She just stood there. I was not even sure what to do. We hadn't spoken since everything went down, and I was not exactly ready to host a reunion. I asked her what she was doing here, and she said she just needed to talk. Her voice cracked a little, and she took off her sunglasses. Her eyes were red and puffy. I did not invite her in, but I did not slam the door either. She started crying right there on my doorstep, not just a little emotional, like full-on sobbing. She said she could not find a job anywhere, that no one in the pet grooming or animal care industry wanted to touch her resume, that she had applied to salons, dog daycares, pet stores, everything, but once they saw her name or her previous business, they either ghosted her or flat out said no. Some places even said that they had heard about what happened and were not comfortable moving forward. She said she was broke, depressed, and did not know how to fix her life. Then came the kicker. She told me it was all my fault, that I had ruined her reputation and destroyed her chance at a future, that she was just trying to start something for herself, and that I could have handled it differently. She said I should have just talked to her or let it go, that I did not have to go nuclear. I just stood there trying to stay calm. I did not want to get into a screaming match on my porch. I told her I was not going to reopen everything, that I had made my decision and stood by it. What happened to Rosie was not a small thing. She started saying Rosie was fine now and that everyone's moved on except clearly she hadn't. She asked if I would help her. I asked what that meant. She said she needed me to talk to people, to maybe write something saying she had apologized and was doing better, and that it was just a misunderstanding and that she was not a bad person. Basically, she wanted me to clear her name. I said no. She begged, like literally begged. She got down on the porch steps and started crying again, saying she had no future, no friends, no support, that I won and she lost everything. I reminded her that this was not a game. It was not about winning or losing. It was about what she did, about the fact that Rosie was hurt, that I said no, and she did it anyway. She said she thought I'd get over it, that it was just for a photo shoot. She did not think it would go that far, and I told her that was the problem. She never thought about anyone but herself. Eventually, I asked her to leave. I did not raise my voice. I didn't insult her. I just said this conversation was not going anywhere, and I was not going to pretend like she hadn't caused real harm. She got up, wiped her face, muttered something about how I'd regret it, and left. I thought that would be the end of it. Nope. The next day, I got a message from my uncle, then my aunt, then my cousin again, all saying variations of the same thing. She's suffering enough. You proved your point. You should help her rebuild. She came to you in good faith, and my personal favorite, family is supposed to forgive. Forgive? Maybe, but forget? No. And enable? Absolutely not. Now people are saying, I'm the one holding a grudge, that I'm making things worse by refusing to let go, that Agatha learned her lesson. I should just write something for her to help her get a job again, that she deserves a second chance. The thing is, I do believe in second chances, I really do, but I also believe in real accountability. And showing up at my door crying does not magically erase what happened. She never even truly apologized. Not when it mattered. Not when Rosie was scared and sick. Not when I asked her to take the pictures down. She only started apologizing when her reputation was at stake, not when Rosie's well-being was. And now I'm supposed to fix it? Honestly, I do not know what to think anymore. I don't hate Agatha. I do not want her to suffer forever, but I also can't bring myself to rewrite history just to make her feel better. Rosie is still healing. I never wanted this to become a war. I just wanted her to stop using my dog for clout and respect the boundary. But somehow that's made me the bad guy. So now I'm stuck, Everyone wants me to help her, to write a post, to reach out to people, to clean up her image. They say if I do not, she might never recover, that I'm standing in the way of her future, that I should be the bigger person. But I keep going back to that moment when Rosie came home covered in dye, confused and anxious, and how little Agatha cared until it all blew up in her face. That moment plays on repeat in my head whenever someone tells me to let it go. Update 2. It has been a few weeks since Agatha showed up at my door, and the situation has only gotten worse. I thought maybe things would die down after a while, but if anything, the tension has just built up. My family has really been pushing me to help her, and honestly, I'm feeling like I'm the one who's in the wrong now. I keep hearing the same things over and over, how I am being too harsh, holding a grudge and making it worse than it needs to be. They keep saying Agatha's suffering and that I am the only one who can help her fix things. It feels like every time I talk to someone in the family, they either mention Agatha or make comments that I should step up and do the right thing. It started with my mom. She called last week and it was not a "how are you" call. It was, "you need to fix this" call. She kept going on about how Agatha's life was ruined, how she had learned her lesson, and how you're the only one who can help her get back on track. She said that Agatha was not asking for much, just that I clear the air with the people who were turned off by her. My mom seemed to think that because we're family, I should be willing to help her even if I do not like what she did. Then my aunt texted me saying that Agatha was not the same person anymore and that I should give her a chance to redeem herself. She said, "We all make mistakes. I know I'm not perfect, but I'm really struggling to understand how this is being treated like a mistake. It was not a mistake. It was deliberate. She took my dog, used her for promotional photos without asking, and did not even care when I said no, and now somehow I'm supposed to act like this is all just one big misunderstanding?" It did not stop there. One of my cousins posted something on social media, kind of a passive-aggressive post that said, "It is crazy how some people can't let go of the past and keep punishing someone for one bad decision. Everyone deserves a second chance." The comments were all supportive of Agatha, saying things like, "Families should stick together," and "you have to forgive your loved ones." I tried to ignore it, but seeing that made me feel like I was the one being unreasonable. Then, just a few days ago, I got a text from my brother asking if I could talk to Agatha and see if she's okay. I told him I was not in a position to help her. He said he understood, but did not want things to stay tense. He reminded me that Agatha had really been struggling, and the thing is, I'm not some cruel person. I do not want anyone to be in pain, least of all, Agatha. But I still can't get over the fact that when it came down to it, she did not show any real remorse until her own future was at stake. She never apologized for hurting Rosie, for disrespecting me, or for any of the consequences she faced. It was only when she could not get a job that she started crying about ruining her life. I talked to my boyfriend about it, and he's been really supportive. He told me that he sees why I'm standing my ground and that I've done nothing wrong. But even he mentioned that it might help if I reached out to someone. Maybe not to help Agatha directly, but to ease the tension. Honestly, it made me question myself. Maybe I'm being heartless. Maybe I'm holding on to this too much. But then I look at Rosie, who's still nervous around new people, and I think about how Agatha never even considered how that would affect her. I do not think I'm the one who should be apologizing. Things have gotten so awkward at family gatherings. I went to a birthday party for one of my younger cousins last weekend, and Agatha was not there. But it was obvious people were talking about her. My aunt kept looking at me like I was the one who made all the drama. People were whispering and I just felt out of place. No one really looked me in the eye. It felt like I was the one who had done something wrong. The worst part is that my mom keeps telling me I need to be the bigger person and just let it go, but I do not know if I can. It is hard to just act like everything's fine when no one has even acknowledged what Agatha did or the damage it caused. No one's even asked how Rosie is doing. It's like I am the only one who actually cares. I keep thinking maybe I'm overreacting, maybe I should have just moved on and let her make her mistakes without dragging it out. But then I remember how I felt when I saw Rosie covered in that dye, and I wonder if I'm just being too stubborn. I've tried to look at it from all sides, and I still feel like I'm in the right. But with the pressure coming from everyone around me, I'm starting to feel like I'm losing touch with the bigger picture. Should I just let it go and help Agatha? Or is it okay to stand firm and not be the one to fix things? Update 3. I'm honestly not sure how we got here. Since the last time I posted, things have only escalated. It feels like my entire family is against me, and I'm the only one standing by my decision. At this point, it's less about Agatha and more about me being the villain in everyone's eyes. I've tried to stay firm in my belief that I did the right thing, but the pressure from my family is starting to take a toll. I do not even know where to begin because it feels like everything I say just gets twisted, and I am left looking like the bad guy. First, my mom called me again. This time she was crying, saying I was breaking her heart by not helping Agatha. She said, "You're ruining your relationship with her, and it's going to hurt the family in the long run." She kept bringing up how I should have more compassion because Agatha had already paid the price by not being able to find a job. She asked me point blank why I wanted to see Agatha suffer. And for the first time, I started doubting myself. Maybe I was being too harsh. Maybe I really was just holding on to this for too long. But then my dad weighed in and he told me that if I really wanted to do the right thing, I should have helped Agatha get back on her feet. It was my responsibility as family to help her repair the damage that I caused. He said that what happened with Rosie was a mistake and I shouldn't let it define Agatha forever. He basically told me that families should stick together even when it's hard. I tried to explain how I felt about the whole thing, that it was not just about a mistake, it was about respect. Respect for me, for my dog, and for boundaries. But he cut me off, saying I was too proud and too stubborn to admit when I was wrong. And that's when I really started feeling like I was losing this battle. It was not just about Agatha anymore. It was about my entire family telling me I was wrong, that I was the one making everything worse. The final straw was last weekend. We had a family barbecue and Agatha showed up. She did not come with the usual confidence, I'm fine attitude. She looked completely different. She was almost unrecognizable, no makeup, hair flat, clothes plain. She looked like someone who had just given up. When she saw me, her eyes got a little watery and I could not help but feel guilty. I didn't want her to be sad or struggling, but I still could not bring myself to apologize. I did not think I had anything to apologize for. Then my cousin, who I'm close to, pulled me aside and she said, "Agatha's really struggling and the family's all on her side. We just want you to be part of the healing process." I told her I had already done everything I could, that I did not owe Agatha anything after what she did to Rosie. But my cousin made me feel like I was being selfish. She said I was destroying Agatha's chances at a future and that I was letting petty differences affect the whole family. I was speechless. I never thought it would come to this. Now people are talking about me behind my back at family gatherings. I overheard one of my aunts tell my mom that I'm never going to be happy if I can't forgive. I feel like I'm the one who's always supposed to be the bigger person, but no one ever considers how much it hurts to always be the one to let go, to forgive, to make peace. I spent a lot of time thinking about this, about Rosie, about Agatha, about my family, and I still feel like I made the right call. But I can't help but wonder if I had been more forgiving, if I had helped Agatha out in some way, would things have been different? Could I have avoided this entire mess? The hardest part is knowing I am the one everyone's turning against. I'm the one who's being blamed for breaking up the family, for not being understanding enough. I'm the one who's stuck holding on to my morals, and for some reason that's being seen as a flaw. I keep thinking about Rosie, and I keep thinking about how she was traumatized by what Agatha did, about how she's still not fully back to herself. I think about how Agatha never truly apologized for what happened. She only apologized after it affected her, and I can't just forget that. At the same time, though, I feel like I'm fighting a losing battle. Everyone's telling me I'm the one who's ruining everything, that I'm the one who won't let go. And it is honestly exhausting. So now I'm here, still standing by what I believe is right, but feeling more isolated than ever. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.